Hello guys, all things new. Today we are going to have the relative pronouns, which that it's rare. Take a look at these sentences. The woman who was shouting was angry. The garden which is small looks spacious. The car that drove right past me was red. The girl whose brother is in my class is nice. The man whom I sent a letter will help me. What she told me is not true. These are the examples. Let's get into details. We have relative pronouns, which are who, which, that, whose, whom, and what. These are the relative pronouns. The relative pronoun can refer to a noun. When I say, I know the artist who made this painting, who refers to the artist, which is a noun here. So who refers to a noun, can refer to a noun, or a pronoun. She can tell me nothing that will change my mind. That refers to nothing. Nothing here is a pronoun. So a pronoun can refer to a noun or a pronoun. Also can refer to a subclause. He told us we could go home, which came as a surprise, which refers to we could go home, which is a subclause. Also, it can refer to a main clause. I failed my exams, which I hadn't expected, which refers to failed my exams, which is a main clause. So that the pronoun can refer to a noun, pronoun, subclause, or a main clause. It's very important. It can refer to a noun, a pronoun, a subclause, or a main clause. The word or the word's relative pronoun refers to is called the antecedent. For example, there was a man who was quite clever, who refers to a man. A man is antecedent here. She told us to leave, which was a shock. To leave is the antecedent, which refers to it. The part of the sentence that contains the relative pronoun is called a relative clause. There was a man who was quite clever. Who was quite clever is a relative clause. She told us to leave, which was a shock. Which was a shock is a relative clause. Let's have who, the first relative pronoun. The antecedent is a person with who. Her cousin, who is 5, is learning to speak English. Who refers to cousin, which is a person. My neighbors who are old complain a lot. Who refers to neighbors. So who refers to a person. Which, the antecedent is not a person. The bike which he forgot to look was stolen. Which refers to the bike, which is a thing. She asked for my help, which I found charming, which refers to my help, which is a thing. It's not a person here. So which refers to a thing or an animal, for example. So it's must that, and then this with which is a thing. That we have to determine whether the sentence or the clause is restrictive or non-restrictive to use that or not. Okay? Non-restrictive clause provides information that can be omitted. Again, what are the non-restrictive clause? Non-restrictive clause provides information that can be omitted. We can lift out this part of the sentence. My uncle Bob, who is a poacher, had a cat. I can omit who is a poacher. We say, my uncle Bob has a cat. As long as I can lift out a part of the sentence and gives meaning and is good grammar, it's a non-restrictive relative clause. Here, it's very important to determine whether you can lift out this part or not, to determine it's restrictive or non-restrictive. Restrictive clause provides information that cannot be omitted. We cannot lift out any part of the sentence. Okay? This is restrictive. The people who live here are lovely. Can you say the people are lovely? Yes, but it lacks important information, which means who live here. This is a house which is very old. I can say this is a house, but this part which is very old is very important part of the sentence, and it's a very important information. So this is restrictive clause. It's better to keep it. In the restrictive clause, In a restrictive relative clause, who and which can be replaced by that. For example, the people who live here are lovely. We can say the people that live here are lovely. Or this is a house which is very old. I can replace it with that. The people who live here are lovely. The people that live here are lovely. This is a house which is very old. This is a house that is very old. We can replace who and which with that. In a non-restrictive relative clause, who and which can't be replaced by that. In non-restrictive, for example, my Uncle Bob that is a poacher has a cat. I can see that. We can't use that here. Omitting the relative pronoun. When the relative pronoun is not the subject of a restrictive relative clause, we can omit it. For example, the boys who you saw are my nephews. We can drop who here. We say, the boys you saw are my nephews. Look at the word who. You is the subject, so we can drop who. The boys that you saw are my nephews, or the boys you saw are my nephews. We can lift out who here or that because it's not the subject of the restrictive relative clause. Okay? Yes. Whose. Whose for possessive form of who. The man whose bike was green laughed at me. Bike is for the man, is owned by the man. So we say the man whose bike is kaza. ونكمل. Formal use instead of who is whom. Whom is the formal instead of who in restrictive clause only. The doctor whom I told you about is friendly, or the doctor who I told you about. What? We use what when there is no antecedent. What you saw is unique. No antecedent here. When she sees what you have done, she will be speechless. Here we don't have antecedent. What strikes me is that he didn't apologize. Thank you very much, and until we meet again, I hope you send us anything you want, any question. Goodbye.